Good morning, Lansdowne High School. My name is Mr. Rochlin. I'm one of the assistant principals here. I'm going to take a few minutes this morning to discuss with you the 2013-2014 Student Discipline Handbook. If it has not happened yet, teachers and staff, please distribute these books to the students. I will give you directions about what to do with the acknowledgement form in just a few moments. The county has some talking points they want us to emphasize. I know you all can read the book and you'll have it to keep in your possession, in your binders or in your bags, but I will highlight some areas for you. The first thing we need you to know about being a student of Baltimore County Public Schools is that the school rules apply to you both in school and out. That is called scope of authority. That can be found on page 5. And it says in 3 points at the top of the page that this behavior code applies to all school activities on property, to travel on school buses or at trips and social events, and in number 3, on-site or off-site school-related problems which are the result or cause of disruptive behavior on school grounds. In other words, there's a problem at home in the neighborhood, there's a problem through social media, and it comes into school or causes disruption in our halls and classes, your school staff will be involved and consequences could follow. The next piece I want to highlight for you in the handbook is found on page 8 and 9. It is about telecommunications. We're talking about computer use, cell phone use, other kinds of technology that may be in the building. There's several iPads, things like that. What we need you to know is that students shall use telecommunications for educational purposes only. One more level. Some teachers may choose to ask you to use your personal devices in classes. Other teachers may not. You need to follow that teacher's directions when they're given to you. One more point about personal devices. It is illegal to take pictures or videos or to make recordings of other people without their knowing about it and without their permission. And possessing that video or that recording can get you in trouble as well. Page 9 indicates what the penalties could be for breaking some of the rules for telecommunication misuse. Make sure you see the section where it says students shall not. Page 10 and page 11 start discussing student behavior. It references student dress code. What we want to emphasize here is that students are not permitted to wear attire that is disruptive to the school environment, promotes illegal or harmful activities, or could endanger the health and safety of other students, which includes, but is not limited to, and then points 1 through 6 describe some of the things that are not permitted in school. As an overall umbrella rule, if a staff member asks you about your attire, whether it's a shirt or pants or a skirt or what have you, it is appropriate and respectful to talk to that adult calmly and discuss whatever it is. But if they ask you to cover up, and you've seen that on our morning announcements and on the slides that are shown throughout the day, if they ask you to cover up or change the message on a shirt or to turn it inside out or offer you a new shirt, what you have to do is accept their help and go with the flow. Because to go against their request could get you into being non-compliant or disobedient, and that can lead to another consequence. We want you to avoid those things. Page 11 talks about rules against student bullying, harassment, and intimidation. It goes on to talk about gang activity or other illegal group behavior. Those behaviors are not permitted in Baltimore County Public Schools, are not permitted off campus, and then leading to problems that happen here at Lansdowne High School. And we need you to know the consequences that can follow for those kind of things. I do want to point out at the bottom of page 11, rule about student use and possession of tobacco. You can't smoke at school. You can't smoke off school grounds and come back because you can't leave school grounds. So please consider picking a healthier alternative than smoking and certainly you can't smoke at school. Medication is only something allowed to be dispensed by the folks in our nurses suite, Nurse Cooper or Miss Curtis. You can't take your own medicine that you have in your purse, your pocket, or your bag. It has to be approved by the folks in our nurses suite. The specific types of behaviors can be found now on pages 13 and on. These are classified by categories. The first page on page 13 tells you that all BCPS students will come to school daily, engage in learning activities, only bring materials required for education, show appropriate behavior and positive language, and be respectful of others, and accept county rules. And again, this applies on campus, off campus, and moving to and from school campus. Category 1 are behavior offenses that can have consequences such as conferences, detentions, Friday or Saturday school, meetings with counselors, student peer mediations, sometimes just apologies or some kind of gesture to make the situation right. Sometimes they're not big deals. They want to stop those things from getting to be bigger deals. And the list of possible consequences follows on page 15. Page 16 references category 2, where a student can be possibly suspended or expelled for those behaviors. You see them listed on the page in those two columns. What we need you to understand is that while we don't want to suspend students, we want to go through all the steps possible to prevent this behavior and to prevent suspensions. But if we've given you chances and tried to work with you and you haven't changed the behavior, a suspension will follow. Category 3 are the most serious offenses of all. These are automatic expulsions or suspensions to the board, and these are the big things. Striking a staff member, physical attacks on others, violent behavior on property, anything involving alcohol, drugs, weapons, sexual assault. We certainly hope these things will never happen to our Lansdowne High School students, but in the interest of full disclosure, you need to know what the consequences would be if those kind of things happen. In any discipline situation, if you are asked to come to the office to meet with an administrator, for 9th graders it's me, for 10th graders Mr. Wild, for 11th graders Miss Adams, and seniors both Mr. Wild and Miss Adams, you have due process. You'll be asked to give your side of the story. We will take every fact that is made available to us to figure out what happened in the situation and what the appropriate outcome should be. We do try to be as fair and objective as possible. Finally, if I could ask you to please to turn to page 27. This is the Student Handbook Acknowledgement Form. On the top part of the page, we need you to please fill out your last name, your first name, school is Lansdowne High School, your grade, and your homeroom teacher's name. It then says, I have received these rules. They were given to me. I understand that they are listed in this book. And if I have questions, I know who to go ask for questions. I need you to sign that on the signature line with today's date, August 30th. We then want you to tear out that page, give that page back to your homeroom teacher so he or she can turn them into us in the office. I know there is a bottom part of the form about opting out. This has been sent home to parents in a different communication. This is not a concern of ours today. Homeroom teachers, once you've collected those papers, please bundle them up, please alphabetize them, and on top of the pile, with the roster that came with your books, please highlight the names of any students who are not present here today. For all students and staff, if you have any questions about this handbook or the presentation, please see an administrator during perhaps your lunch shift. Find us in the hallway. We'll be happy to help you as best we can. Once again, thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful school year. Have a great Friday, a great long weekend. Thank you.